Hannah, thanks so much. Well, it's the big story today. Yukon Public Schools assuring parents that the student who reportedly made a threat against the Yukon High School is now in police custody.
Class is back in session today after the district shut down yesterday out of an abundance of caution.
We were notified that there was a student that had run away and that he might pose a threat to our school system. There was not a, I'm going to come to school and do something. It was the ambiguity of what could happen and the uncertainty of what could happen.
District officials say a student ran away from home with his father's unloaded AR-15. The boy's father contacted police. That boy now in custody. This morning, Yukon Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Jason Simmeroff live in studio talking more about really what the district is seeing with students nowadays.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Can you just tell us how terrifying was it for you to make these big decisions about hearing a possible threat? Do you keep school open? Do you close school?
Yeah. That's always the question is what do you do? And I think we talked yesterday about the what if, but you know, it's one of the brutal things that we have to do as the leaders of districts, but the fear that the parents, the students face is far outweighs what what we go through if we don't have kids in school. It's terrible. It's just one of the students of safety, and a threat to that is one of the most horrible things that anybody in education can deal with.
What are you seeing right now with students, especially coming a couple years after a pandemic that shut things down, social media? What are you seeing right now?
So that's really the crux of, I think, everything that we're seeing with these threats is the anxiety, the stress, the inability to deal with some of these situations that kids face at home or at school. And I think the pressures that they've been under and the lack of the interaction, the lack of the societal norms has really built up, and the social, emotional anxieties and problems that they're facing are mounting without the skills to deal with them.
To cope with it. Yeah. What's your message to parents? Because I mean, that's the worst thing for a parent. You want to send your kids to school. You want to make sure they're safe. How do you reassure parents? And there's 9,500 kids almost in the Yukon district. That's a high calling for your job, for sure. How do you reassure parents?
So you hear it all the time. The safety of schools is one of our students is one of our top priorities, and it truly is. It's not just something we say. We have so many things that we try to do and implement and learn. We talked about just a while ago about learning from each thing that happens, how we could do something better. We have things in place that we don't share just simply because we don't want bad people to know the things that we do, but learning from circumstances, like we'll debrief with the Yukon Police Department and our leadership team about how we handled this situation. What could we have done? What could we have seen? But we will, we'll always give kudos to like the parent that notified the police, the students that notified their teachers, anything that somebody says. I mean, 48 hours advance notice of what was happening just because somebody just made a call. Really, it just went miles to helping protect these kids.
Can you give us some insight on the original decision, a soft lockdown, still come to school, and then you reevaluated that?
Sure. We always want to have school. That's what we do. And at the time we really thought that we were going to be able to have school. And a soft lockdown means you come, we keep you here, we're not letting anybody in, we're going to have school. And that was our first thought of what we would do. We had a Zoom call with all of our administrators in the district to make this collaborative decision. And then as time progressed, the uncertainty just set in, and it was not something that we could risk, not something that we could stomach, saying, yeah, this student is unstable, he's out there, go ahead and come to school.
What else can you tell us about this student that has been arrested? It is a high school student from Yukon. How long had that student been going to school there? And had there been something troubling at school or at home? Do you know anything?
Don't know the reason behind it. Really don't. The student had been one of ours. He had moved away, and then he came back in January. That's not uncommon. You just don't know. You don't know what's going to set anybody off. And it could have been an argument at home. It could have been an argument online with another friend or a girlfriend or anything. We haven't gotten there yet. Again, I think the pressures that kids are facing and the lack of the strife in society, the things we see, whether it's politically or personally or social media, it builds up, and we need to help kids.
Yeah.
We appreciate you very much for coming in today, because we know a lot's been going on over the last 48 hours in your district. So, Jason, thanks again for coming and talking
to us.
Appreciate it.